just about sailing 2019. What went wrong last year then? You know that something went wrong, don't you? Because the latter half of 2019, the videos were thin, the projects didn't get off the ground, nothing was finished. I did manage to get a video out each month, but it was based on kind of previous clips from it's now, as I record this, 22nd of December. It's the first time I've been on Serenity since the 14th of October last year, which is when I installed the hatch. I haven't done any meaningful boat work since the beginning of September, so something obviously did go wrong, and we're going to cover that in this video. If you're new to the channel, you won't get anything out of this video, so you might as well wait for the next one by the road. So the year last year started off great. Lots of projects, rudder, windows, etc. Storming head, good project plan. At the same time, I was also working on the sustainable income side, because that's key to start voyaging. You know, we need to have some money coming in. And I didn't really cover that, but that was going swimmingly, that was going brilliantly. So what happened is we got to about July, and I put together a little video which I planned to show in April this year when I actually untie the lines and actually set off. Now I'm not going to put that video in here, but I will include a link to it down below in the description, so you can watch that, but I'll describe roughly what was in it. So what that video was about was about getting the sustainable income, and that was sort of how much money I wanted to get and how I was going to do it. And I was going to do that through, I'll put a bit of the video up here, that was to do with a £200 millionaire, which was getting 10,000 a year, and I'm about a third of the way there, and the rest of it was going to be doing a book which I was working on, and then start to work on other books and so on. It was generally talking about the philosophy of how that was going to happen. So that was the idea, that I was going to put that video together, get back in the water by the end of September, and then start voyaging. But that didn't happen. So what I did instead is I started to, as things were going pear-shaped, to do little video clips. And what I've done, the next bit, is simply putting those video clips together so you can kind of see what unravelled as it unravelled at the time. So I'll catch up with you of these video clips. I want to put little date things at the bottom so you can see when they happened. Hopefully this makes sense, but do feel free to switch off. Oh, there's a bit of product placement in this, by the way. I do apologise, I don't monetize this channel. I don't like to use it to sell things, but because obviously, well, you'll see why anyway. So I thought I'd record a few sort of updates as we went along, and again, I don't know if this one's going to see the light of day or not. But it's, what is it now? It's 2nd of October, so I've literally just put the habit tent up, and it's great because I'm going to spend the day today doing writing, because that's gone a little bit behind schedule. But this is really good for, it's like a little garden shed type thing. So I have got my entertainment centre, flask of tea, bits and pieces that I need, various computers for what I do, and it kind of gets me away from having to be down there, which I've set up as kind of a workshop, and that's where all the work's actually going on. But the reason for the update is, as I mentioned before, the work's not going particularly fast on the boat. Part of that, excuse me, gulping my tea too fast. Part of that is due to the fact that I am doing the writing, and I've got a lot further forward than previously. I was hoping to get things published by August. All the words are written. Now all I've got to do is put them in the right order, which should be simple. Should I arrange them alphabetically? Is that a way to write a book? I don't know. One of the things that I said is things are going quite slowly, partly because I was trying to get the book and so on sorted out to get the sustainable income. But what I started to notice is that I was coming down to the boat for 7 or 8 hours and spending 7 or 8 hours pretty hard work, and then it was slowly dropping to 6 hours hard work, then 5, and then over the last 3-4 months it's kind of dropped down, so I'm literally doing about an hour's work, and I'm making a few sloppy mistakes. And I noticed that particularly with the hatch. If you go back to the hatch video, which I've yet to install it as I'm recording this, but I've done all the rest of it, and I made a couple of stupid mistakes and bits and pieces that could have gone better. And I also started to get some really bad cluster migraines, which I've not had before, so I had 10 migraines in a row, so I thought, hang on, there's something going on here. And work was suffering as well, I spoke to my boss about it. So I went to the doctor, had some blood tests, and I got something called a folate deficiency, which I'd never heard of before, but it's basically something to do with your red blood cells not working properly, and it causes a lot of headaches, fatigue, tiredness, your brain not working properly, etc. So I'm now on some pills to kind of try and get that back up, and it to me it's a little bit like having a battery that's not working properly, or a deep cycle battery that you've used too often, and now it's in real desperate straits. So I think it got down to pretty much zero, and now I'm kind of building it up very, very slowly. So it's probably going to take a few months before I get things completely sorted out. Worst case scenario is that sometimes the effects of having that deficiency aren't reversible, so you might have to put up with me being very slightly absent and working very, very slowly. But anyway, so I thought I'd share that, not as an excuse, just to kind of say, well, what am I trying to say? I suppose I'm just trying to say that's the way it goes. But anyway, it's still moving steps in the right direction, so more slowly than I wanted to, but if it's going in the right direction, it's going in the right direction, and that's all that counts. And as I say, like the last one, I might not show this one, but I might do. So we shall see. Anyway, I'm procrastinating now, so I've actually got to pick up that laptop over there, drink my tea and get on with the writing. Cheers. So it is now the beginning of November. Not an awful lot has happened on the boat. Health is still not brilliant. The energy levels don't seem to have gone up as they should, so I'm having some more blood tests, some more sort of tests on that. Pills for the migraines, magical, absolutely fantastic, except when I take one they completely knock me out. So anyway, that's just the way it is. The big shame about the work on the boat is that we're getting to the point where I'm missing the epoxy timescales, and I had 3 weeks off recently, and I hardly managed to do any work, and they were deliberately planned to get certain jobs done. So again, looking back on this, I don't know what I'm going to try and do next. Maybe get the kitchen sorted out, the galley, get most of the holding tank sorted out, although I don't want to do epoxy work if it's too cold. So anyway, the good news is the book is finished, the book is published. Now I said that I wasn't going to, real book, I said I wasn't going to actually sort of advertise this as such, but I'm very pleased with this. I've really enjoyed the writing process. I can't wait to get out there on the boat and actually be writing perhaps more philosophy books like the previous one. So I'm not going to put a link because it's different for the different areas, but oops, can you see that? That's what it is, so you can Google that, you can Amazon it yourself. It has got a boat on it. Oh look, no sails, but on the back I did manage to get a sailboat. It's not a book about sailing, by the way. You'll have to look at the link and figure out what it's about. It's fairly obvious, and for those of you who are curious, because you always wonder what these people who put YouTube videos up actually do for a living, well, that will be explained in there. I've got some pictures in it, diagrams and things, not many, but anyway, I've enjoyed doing that immensely. That was fantastically rewarding, and it's kind of spurred me on to really, really want to get on the boat, get relaxing, be bobbling out there and do more writing, because as well as potentially bringing in some money on the passive income side, I just enjoy it. It's what I do. It's kind of what I've wanted to do for a very long time, as in I've wanted to be on a sailboat for a very long time. So despite a few sort of setbacks, just off the rails slightly, it's not back to square one. This is not a game of snakes and ladders. This really is just off to the side. And oh yeah, the other thing I was going to do is I wanted to do an audiobook version straight after doing this, and of course with my voice all croaky like this, I can't do that yet, so I've got to wait for my voice to get better. So, you know, timing. Anyway, update you. Oh, and I've sold some. I've actually sold some already, which is amazing. So I'll give you an update later. Cheers. Okay, so very brief update. When I first started doing this little series of videos, it was meant to be kind of something that I would put out in about April when I was going to start cruising. When maybe I am going to start cruising, I don't know. But then obviously events and health and things overtook that. So I thought I'd just log these things, and as I say, whether or not this sees the light of day, I don't know. But good news and half good news. I've got two glasses, they're both half full. That's the optimistic way of putting it, I think. So first of all, folate levels are back up. When I had blood tests, that's great. Unfortunately, it hasn't made any difference to the way that I feel at all in terms of exhaustion, not being able to do things. So the current hypothesis, and I should have written this down because I'm going to try and remember what it is. Basically, you go and see the doctor every time they come up with bigger and more scary words. The working hypothesis at the moment, I've got to have some tests, is this might be something called polymyalgia rheumatica, which I've never heard of. It's nothing to do with fibromyalgia, which sounds the same, and it's not the same as sort of rheumatism, rheumatic type things. But there are a few other symptoms that kind of came on at the same time, and it sort of makes sense. Now, the reason the glass is half full on this one is that the symptoms can actually be managed quite easily with medication. Unfortunately, medication that you've got to take for a long time. Now, the deal should be that the initial few doses, within days or a week or so, actually get rid of the symptoms, and then the taking of the medication for the next 18 months, 2 years, actually stops it reoccurring. So more on that when we get there, but as I say, I've got 2 glasses that are full at the moment, which is the same as 1 glass completely full, isn't it? So I think that's all right. Obviously, I've just missed out on doing a load of stuff to the boat, but you know, one way of looking at it is I'm sort of a year or so behind schedule. Another way of looking at it is I'm actually 6 years ahead of schedule, because I was originally going to actually set sail in about 5-6 years' time, and then I changed my plans to kind of make that speed up. So if needs be, I might. The book is still selling, by the way, so I'm still quite happy about that. I need to write the follow-up. If needs be, I might need to go and do 1 more intensive year of work. But if I do that, I'm going to have my boat with me, and I'm going to go and work somewhere where I can actually have easy access to the boat and do some sailing and so on. So next year will not be a sail-free year, whatever happens. That's one of the things I'm absolutely determined to do that, because I actually miss being on the boat. I miss living on the boat, and I miss going out and sailing. So anyway, blah blah blah. So that was a quick update. I will again put the date down in the corner. What is it? I think it's the 2nd or 3rd of December or something at the moment, and we'll just take it from here and see what happens. Right, so don't worry, I'm not going to play this thing. In fact, I'll put it away so that you can reduce your stress levels. But I've literally just, it's Thursday, December the 20th, and I've literally just recorded the Christmas special laugh thing that I do. And a bit of an update. Now, this might be a false dawn, but hopefully, fingers crossed, it's not. Went back to the doctor on Monday, started medication. He said, if it is what we think it is, and if it works, it'll be like night and day. It'll really change quite quickly. But I wasn't expecting such a big change in 3 days. I actually now feel fine, full of energy. Brain is working. Believe it or not, you do need a bit of brain to do the... If you've watched the Christmas special, perhaps you think that maybe I am still having a problem with my thinking processes. But anyway, so as I say, hopefully not a false dawn. Do feel good. Really overdid it on Tuesday and felt ill again, but I'd kind of rushed it after feeling really, really bad. I hadn't realised quite how bad I'd been feeling, how much it'd been affecting my thought processes and physically what I could do. So I will put this out in January. I'll do a bit of an update just in case things do go wrong again, but I'm, touch wood, optimistic. And I'm starting to think of I'm starting to really look forward to the projects I'm going to get involved in. One of the early projects I'm going to do, I don't think I've ever mentioned before, but this might be useful. So there could be a bit of a surprise coming up shortly, hopefully with my new energy levels and so on. So there we are, giving you one more update. This video is then going to start to get a little bit too long, but yeah, and I will put it out there, because things, you know, things obviously went wrong at the end of 2018, and that's just all part of it. That's part of life, that's part of sailing, that's part of what happens. So and you know, what I'm doing is I'm kind of chronicling, as I say, for myself, what's going on. So yeah, okay, anyway, see you in the next clip, which will be the last one. Okay, so it's the 31st. I want to get this video out. I'm going to try and get it out on the 1st of January and then follow it up by another one, because we really do need to get cracking now. So this bit's going to be short. Basically, was it a false dawn? Slightly. Still need to see a consultant about stuff. Off the very strong pills at the moment. to see whether things get bad again, and then I will retake them. So we're kind of experimenting, because each time I have a blood test, the scores are different. You know, I'm not I'm not very predictable from that point of view, so we don't fully know what's going on, but the energy levels are still there. Some of the pain and stuff has come back. So anyway, enough of all this wittering on and whinging about health and so on. I have had a look at, if you look back to May last year, you will see I did a kind of a project plan thing, and now what I've done, don't know how well this will come out, is I've gone through this. The ones with green, a little dash of green, have started. The ones where are crossed out have finished, and these little bits where I've put the red marks, that's what I need to do to get back in the water. And a lot of these, a lot of those are to do with time and effort rather than money and so on. I'm going to do the galley and I'm going to put a heater in. Both those are ordered. I've been ripping out the old galley today, and that will hopefully be in the next video. The other thing I've done, because I think with plans it's a little bit like passage planning, you have to have contingencies. So, you know, as I went through that, the sort of methodology behind that back in May, in terms of getting back in the water, what I must have, what I'd like to have, voyaging, what I must have, what I'd like to have. The other one that I do, and I will share this when I've finished, but not now, is I've kind of done the same thing, but I've actually put costings against them, so I kind of know how much budget I need for different things. So you might think that I do these things on a random basis. As, who was it Eisenhower or Marshall said that all plans are useless, but planning is indispensable. Planning, knowing where you are, knowing where you getting to, having contingencies is vital for DIY boat work, it's vital for passage planning, and it's also vital for life, because you never know if you're going to be knocked out for 3 months in the critical part of the year. Anyway, so enough of all this. Let's get this show back on the road. Hopefully I'll be getting more than one video out a month, because I really want to get on with this stuff. It was supposed to be quite a nice day today, no rain at all. It's actually drizzling a little bit, my camera's getting wet. So look, thank you for listening to me whinging on with this one. The rest of this stuff will be, the rest of the year will be, well, let's see when we can get back in the water. I'd still like to get back in the water for April. Let's set that as a sort of tentative goal, but if I miss it, I miss it. No harm done. Okay, see you in the next video. Cheers.